Happy American Independence Day, my friends. But, in my opinion, it really should be called American Revolution Day. American Rebellion Day. Notice they didn't resist. Oh, they had a resistance right in the beginning, sure they did. But that resistance, once the tyranny of King Georgie came upon them and demanded that they surrender their weapons, their right to defend themselves and their families and their communities as they saw fit, they gave those goddamn British and government fucking tyrants what for? In the form of bullets right into their goddamn faces, right into their shitty little bodies. It's a shame they couldn't have done it to King Georgie himself, but he was too much of a coward to actually come down here and demand the people do things himself. That spirit is what makes Americans, or should. Those of us left who are true Americans are full of the spirit of revolution and rebellion. What other things make up Americans? Is it the right to own land? Is it the right to bear arms? Is it the right to determine your own destiny? Is it the right to be creative and speak as you wish, how you wish? Freedom of speech, freedom of movement. All these things, my friend, do not just belong to Americans. These are inherent rights accorded to every human being by the fact that they were created by the cosmos, by the creators or creative forces or creator of the cosmos. Even if you believe in just the cosmos itself, the Big Bang, and that grand, amazing mathematical equation playing itself out through billions of years of chaotic interplay. Destiny and fate have accorded all of us freedom and the right to pursue that freedom and the right to kill, arrest, detain, and fight any persons or groups who claim that we are not and demand our slavery, our servitude, our bending the knee. That's not just for Americans, that's for the whole world, that's for all people. And a great many people have already bended the knee and fallen, first and foremost by giving up their right to defend themselves. But that right is still yours, my friends, my brothers and sisters in Europe, Canada, and elsewhere. Australia. If you've given up your guns in the past, make new ones. Get new ones. I don't care who tells you you can't. I don't care what laws they make. If they are not just laws, they are not laws, and they are to be disobeyed and broken. That's your friend the Butcher's suggestion and advice to you. True, that would make me a criminal in your country, and what does that say about your so-called government? What does it say about mine? The fact that the government, which lauds and holds high these ideas of free speech, free assembly, and free travel, have been working to remove them. Self-defense, self-determination, the right to think, behave, act, and go as you will. This government, run out of the district of criminals, is corrupt, is a sham and a shame. It is nothing like the founders wanted. It is a disastrous simulacrum, a bedamned and bedraggled puppet marionette, pulled as it is by a bunch of Sanhedrin dogs. I'm sorry. I love dogs. What I mean are pigs. Smelly, wallowing in the mud, dirtbags, psychotics. That's pretty much the gist of it. Here in America, we have a pretender as a government, and so all Americans, especially on this day, Rebellion Day, Independence Day, is something they want to remove. They want to call it Dependence Day, based on what they do, stealing from you and giving to the lowest of the low, the scummiest of the scum, and the most foreign people you could possibly fucking imagine. Excuse my French, my friend, but it is my right to say what I want, as I want. And that's not accorded to me by my corrupt, Zionist-controlled, out of Israel and elsewhere, government, run as it is from New York, run as it is out of California and Hollywood with their lies and deceptions and illusions, run as it is from the banksters in London, run as it is out of that excrementitious, little, tiny, self-appointed nation called the Vatican, where a bunch of faggots dressed up in dresses claim that they own God. On this great day of rebellion, if you're an American and if you're not an American, remember why there is a rebellion here and why you should have one where you are. If you are not free, if you have oligarchs or groups or governments over you telling you what you can say and what you can think, where you can go and how much you have to pay for this or that because they're the gods. They're not. You have the right to refuse any and all tyranny and any and all government which is abusive of the people and is not created by you, and especially if it's being run by foreigners, which many of our governments are. You have the right to reject any orders, any dictates, any rules, and any demands out of that disgusting little Rothschild-created country called Israel, built as it has been on the bodies of the Palestinian people and their country, which it has slowly but surely eaten alive ever since its ignoble founding, illegal as it was. Does Israel have a right to exist? Not in my book. I'm sure not in yours. Not if you believe in the right of free people to defend themselves. A state based on tyranny and slavery is no state. It's a corruption. It's anathema to nature and all of its laws. It's a slavery state, built by slavers and run by them, just like they're turning America into, or have turned it into. But the true Americans, the ones who hold rebellion in their hearts, independence, true independence, and give the middle finger not only to the government, but to its representatives, the ones who pretend to represent the people. There's plenty of people to believe in who ain't got your back and will never have your back. You look at BitChute, look at all the people right there who's at the very top. Every goddamn one of them give you nothing but a bunch of crap. Could get the same amount of garbage if you were watching YouTube or mainstream media. A bunch of stupid shit that don't mean nothing about the political landscape, which was ruined long ago. Ruined and wasted and destroyed. The very fact that it's been cut up into two parties, forcing you into this or that decision, a black or white, left or right, horrible Masonic trap decision, means that your so-called democracy is anything but. Now you can choose to partake in that, my friend. I am not exercising my right to freedom of speech to tell you one way or another. And that freedom is not accorded to me by the government, nor is it accorded to me by some piece of paper. I have that because I'm free. And anybody who says I don't, like the so-called federal government, traitors to the American people, traitors, filthy Benedict Arnolds, to the Declaration of Independence, to the Bill of Rights, to their charge, to their duties. Traitors, filthy traitors, any and all of them who work against the American people and countenance censorship, un-American. Of any sort, countenance false ideas like hate speech and push it upon the American people in violation and in contradiction to their duty. Traitors, the lot of them. All of DC ought to be excised from this great nation. The nation's capital built elsewhere. But unfortunately, a great many of us are still not true Americans. True Americans embrace rebellion, not resistance. They embrace fighting the enemy and building our own way, pioneering our own way, going our own way in 1,000 different ways, turning around and giving the big fat middle finger to those who claim that they're the government and they have the right to tell us what to do, be they Jews or Jesuits, be they domestic or foreign scum, traitors, liars and deceivers, ticks, leeches, the lot of them, lying ticks and leeches, the shame of our nation. But they ain't alone, because all those people who go along with them, who believe what they say, who allow their fellows to be censored and silenced, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, douchebags, freedom of speech is a free person's right. The right to assemble with whomever you want in whatever numbers is your right, because you're free. The right to own and to bear any weaponry that you choose. Any. That includes nuclear fucking bombs, you stupid cunts over in DC. Fuck you. And so I have that beautiful freedom on this wonderful day. A day that true Americans celebrate as a day of rebellion. Now you can claim that from the get-go it was never ours. But men and women, even, were accosted by the British and their Hessian troops and their other allies among the savage tribes here, whose descendants still bitch and moan and claim right to a land that they never came out of. Bunch of whiny, complaining idiots. All of them killed, slaughtered the people of the original 13 colonies. And men and women, mostly men, and children, but mostly men, paid for their freedom in their blood. They fought to the death for it. Don't let anybody tell you that that wasn't worth fighting for. Don't let anybody ever fucking tell you that you don't have the right to assemble nowadays, because you do. Militias everywhere, not just in America, but everywhere, are the right of a free man or woman to have, to join, to build. You haven't gotten that through your head. You don't have the spirit of freedom in you. You're already defeated. Go ahead and join the nameless numbers of slaves, because that's what you are. If you allow, and if you accept that people have the right to curtail other people's voices, to censor them and silence them, and define what they have to say or believe as hateful, then you're a fool in addition to being a slave. And I want nothing to do with you. Real Americans, real people in this world have nothing to do with spineless pigs like that. I give you this, my promise, as a person who actually has the American spirit. The American spirit is one of rebellion. It refuses to be tied down. It refuses to be censored or told what to do. I give you this promise. Those who ingloriously meet in their little Freemasonic halls, in their little synagogues, in their churches, in their temples, wherever the hell they are, in that little bullshit fabricated plastic holy land that they've created called DC. Traitors and Benedict Arnolds, the lot of them. Every goddamn one of you will be held to account one day. And even if it's not in your lifetime, you pile of shit, it will be in the annals of history, in the history books. You will not control that. As God is my witness, those of us who hold the American spirit and ideals close to our hearts, these inimitable ideas, that truth, that freedom, that defense, self-reliance, and independence are every man and woman's right. And to have those rights, one must bear the responsibility of them. As the scions of great individuals, be they founders or just our own ancestors, those proud individuals who through hard work and dedication carved out kingdoms for themselves, we will do the same. We are doing the same. We are not lax. And we will not be. We will train the next generation to hate all forms of oppression, all forms of control, all forms of so-called government, which is anything but claims to be, in their rodent-like manner. But they lie out one side of their mouth, and the other mouth they scream out platitudes to the ones they want to seduce. Excuses to everybody else, and outright lies to every single human being. We will endeavor to spread this spirit of revolution and rebellion and independence, not only to our descendants, not only to the ones who inherit our posts, but to those around the world, because all people deserve freedom. All people deserve to rise up against their oppressors and do with them as they will. For no man or woman deserves to be beaten down by a shabby, little, tiny, egotistical rat in human form who has claimed all the power for itself or themselves. We will and we are forging a future for ourselves amidst all the chaos created by these wimpy little rodents, these satanic fools who run around playing at their little rituals and worshiping their little dark lord, their pathetic god, same as the ones who prance around in their fucking dresses in Italy over there, in Vatican City, the little boy lovers, the scum. Same as the Zionists with their foolish dreams of messianic glory and conquest. The only thing they ever get is through graft and theft and corruption and lies. A tiny people, worthy of tiny little hats, which is what they fucking wear. As an American, I spit in the eye of anybody who says I have to do what they tell me to do. I defy you fucking cunts. I defy your plans. I defy your vision of the future. And I and those like me will work and are working endlessly and tirelessly to forge a new future for ourselves, because we don't need you. We never fucking did. And you can transform the bulk of our fellows and neighbors into the most destroyed individuals of the inner city or the trailer park. It doesn't matter. It doesn't dampen our spirits. It won't mar our vision or cloud it. We have our eyes set on the goal. That goal is independence, freedom. And there's nothing, not on earth, not in heaven, nor hell, that will stop us. Ever. This goes for Americans, and this goes for people around the globe. Germans, Englishmen, French, African, Asian, Indian, whatever you are. You keep your mind set on the goal of freedom, on living the way that you choose, and don't let anybody or any group claiming sovereignty over you tell you how to live your life, how to do it. Subvert them, weaken them, and eventually make plans to absolutely eliminate them and supplant them. That is your duty. This day, for those of us who prize freedom, is a sacred day. because it marked the day that a country of people, ragtag as it was, rallied together and killed those who said that they had to do what they said. That said that they were part of something that they never agreed to. Nobody gave them the vote. Nobody gave them a chance to say that they were part of that nation or underneath the rule of that king. And whether or not it was manufactured, this revolution, by Freemasons, spearheaded and pushed by them, or their friends, the Rosicrucians, or the other secret societies, that matters not. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what they wanted to do with the place. It didn't matter if they actually wanted to use it as a launching pad for Weishaupt and his friends' idea of a whole new world order. What matters are what the people did. The people pushed off a foreign government and formed a new one. And even if it was built and formed by the rich cunts among us, as it always is, those people had time to carve land for themselves, futures for their descendants, space, away from grasping petty bankers, away from the slavers of the old world, away from a system that had reduced human beings into nothing but numbers. That system has come full board back. It has rotten my so-called country and nation from within. But the heart of this nation is its people. Always fucking has been. The people who make it up, who came here long ago searching for a better life. A life of freedom and independence. I don't care who you are. New American, old. Hell, you could be an illegal. You come here with that right fucking attitude, I'll embrace you. I'll embrace you because the government here, that's the biggest goddamn traitor. The biggest un-American pile of shit bags you could ever fucking imagine. Let me tell you that. And the greater bulk of my neighbors, of these people who call themselves Americans, in every single state, have forgotten what it means to be American, which is to be defiant. To push away any grasping arm that has its way with your purse, forces you to pay taxes that you don't owe, tells you how to believe, how to think, how to speak, where you can go and how you could go about it. We have no government in this land other than a bunch of tyrant rich douchebags controlled by a bunch of other tyrant rich douchebags from abroad. So don't you tell me that DC represents anything other than the antithesis of what this country stands for and what free people stand for. I wash my fucking hands of it. Want nothing to do with it. And, most importantly, like any true red-blooded American, I reject any notion that they have any legitimacy whatsoever and do not recognize their authority. I do not recognize it. And so, my friends, I wish you the best on this day. I hope you will use that wonderful gunpowder given to us by the Chinese to shoot up all sorts of pretty lights in the sky, make all sorts of big fucking noises, fire your weapons. Celebrate the fact that we threw off one tyrant and in time gained new ones, because after all, the creeps always creep and they're always gonna. But it's the right of free people to shake them off. And if they won't come off, to force them at fucking gunpoint or by threat to back the fuck off, go their own way, and get the hell out of here. Or face retaliation. Because we're free here. And we will not allow anyone who seeks our slavery to gain purchase in our lands and in our territories. You're going to find, my friend, in the 21st century that all sorts of people go in different directions. The bulk of them will go under the wing of the dragon. The bulk of them will run to mommy and daddy government, and they will become their little slaves, and they'll do it willingly for the little tiny perks that they get while they're poisoned, while they're made infertile, while slowly but surely they're integrated into machinery. That's their destiny and their future. Let them have it. For the rest of us, we will gravitate towards places where people are free, where they forge their own paths, where they embrace their own might and main, as the ancients would say, living off their own power, off their own steam, their own hard work and sweat, where people are responsible for themselves and their community. And those places will grow likewise. And if you, my friend, have not gone to one of those places, make plans to do so. Here in America, for example, I traveled across state after state after state, north, east, south, and west. And I found everywhere, community after community, in the hundreds and yes, the thousands, that were very small in many cases. They were surrounded not by a metropolis, but by heather and heath, by farm, by grasslands and mountains, free open areas with smaller communities, just begging for people with a staunch mind, with stalwart backs and determined spirits to move in, to add their strength to that place. Because the enemy who lives in the cities, the technocratic elitist scum who want to make all men into machines or marionettes, always send out the call to abandon their freedom. Abandon your ancestors and what they built. Abandon their farms. Abandon your heritage and trade it in for a land that looks like a bunch of tombstones stacked up against each other, whether it's New York or any other megapolis city. Places of corruption. Places of ultimate control. Where you may own a flat or an apartment, but really, in fact, it's your prison cell. I urge you, as a free human being, whether Slovakian, Czechoslovakian, Nigerian, Irish, or Russian, pursue freedom if that's what you wish. Pursue freedom if that's what you are. And seek slavery if you're willing to be a slave. That's all. It's a simple thing. It's something everyone can understand. And when someone claiming to be in authority tells you, you can't do this, you can't say that, you're not allowed to think that, you're not allowed to post that, you're not allowed to go there, you're not allowed to associate with certain people, you're not allowed to support certain things, and you're sure as hell not allowed to join certain groups, you give them the good old middle finger. You tell them to go fuck themselves. Because that's the true spirit of life. Life itself is rebellious. Life itself is independent. Life itself finds a way. It finds a way. It doesn't go along with some artificial construct of authority. It obeys the immutable laws of nature, yes, because they're inherent. And one of those laws, chief, matter of fact, among all the others, is freedom. Freedom. It's said that everything, no matter how old, for millions and millions of years, barely change. The mountains and rocks, the trees, the oceans and the land barely change. But little. The animals themselves. You don't see squirrels carrying cell phones, do you? Or monkeys building cars. You don't see giraffes deciding to live inside little cubicles. It's said that human beings are the only things that force themselves into artificial change and abandon who they were. In some cases this is good, in others bad. We must always be on alert and be vigilant. so that the changes which will help us we embrace, but the ones that lead us down paths of slavery and dependence on others, on groups, on those who can take away perks and freedoms at a whim. Those we must reject. That's the spirit of freedom. Evolve as you wish, not as you're told. You can try to help those who do not have the spirit inside them. You can help spread it. But you'll find a great many of our fellows are meek, timid, weak people. Or if they don't get their way within a few minutes or a few days, a few months, or even a few years, turn tail and run home to mommy. Back to that government. Back to the ones who promise safety in exchange for their freedom. You leave that to them. For there will always be willing slaves and always be ready masters ready to crack the whip. On this great day, July the 4th, Independence Day, or as I call it, Rebellion Day. Reflect on that.